The fluorescent lights hummed above the nurses' station at St. Catherine's Memorial Hospital. Emma Walsh adjusted her scrubs and signed into the night shift log. Her handwriting was neat, precise, the kind of precision that came from years of practice. Great, they sent us another fresh face. Dr. Marcus Reed didn't look up from his tablet. His voice dripped with boredom. Just try not to get in the way, sweetheart. Emma said nothing. She simply nodded and moved to check her patient assignments. The emergency department was quiet. Too quiet. Outside, rain hammered against the windows. The storm had been building for hours. Now it was here. Nurse Supervisor Helen Carter approached with a clipboard. Her eyes were cold, assessing, "You're Emma Walsh. The transfer from Walter Reed?" "Yes, ma'am, Walter Reed." Helen's lips twisted into something that wasn't quite a smile. "Military hospital experience. Well, this is a real hospital. Civilian medicine is different. Follow protocols. Don't improvise. And for God's sake, don't touch anything you're not trained for." Emma's face remained calm, professional, understood.
And
they were the eyes of someone who had seen things, done things, survived things that would break most people. Dr. Reed laughed from across the station. "Walter Reed. What did you do there? Hold hands and pass out aspirin to weekend warriors?" The other nurses giggled. Emma didn't respond. She moved to the supply room with quiet efficiency. Inside, she checked the inventory. Gauze, IV bags, standard equipment. Her fingers moved across the shelves, cataloging everything by muscle memory. But her mind was elsewhere. Calculating, always calculating. She pulled out her phone. No messages. Good. That meant her cover was holding. For now, Emma had been at St. Catherine's for exactly 6 days. 6 days of condescending remarks. 6 days of being treated like a child playing dress-up. 6 days of Dr. Reed's insufferable ego. She could endure it. She'd endured worse. The automatic doors burst open. Paramedics rushed in with a gurney. A man, mid-30s, covered in blood, trauma from a car accident. The lead paramedic shouted. Multiple GSWs to the chest and abdomen. GSWs. Gunshot wounds. Emma's training kicked in instantly. She moved toward the trauma bay, but Helen grabbed her arm. "Stay here. Stock supplies. This is advanced trauma. You're not ready." Emma watched as Dr. Reed and 2 experienced nurses rushed to the patient. Through the glass, she could see them working. Fast. Frantic. Too frantic. Dr. Reed was barking orders. The nurses were scrambling. Blood pressure was dropping. The monitors screamed. Emma's jaw tightened. They were doing it wrong. The approach was all wrong. But she stayed where she was, waiting, watching. Sometimes the hardest part of being undercover wasn't the danger. It was the waiting. She returned to her station. Logged supplies. Checked medication counts. Played the role of the quiet new nurse who didn't know anything. Outside, the storm grew worse. Lightning split the sky. Thunder rattled the windows. Emma glanced at her phone again. Still nothing. She allowed herself a small breath of relief. Maybe this assignment would stay boring. Maybe she could finish her 3-month rotation without incident. Maybe she could finally get that vacation her handler kept promising. The trauma bay doors opened. Dr. Reed stormed out, stripping off his gloves. His face was red, angry. Damn it. He slammed his hand against the wall. We lost him. 20 minutes, and we couldn't stabilize him. Emma looked up. Lost him? He's dead. Dr. Reed's voice was bitter. Multiple organ failure. We did everything we could. No, Emma thought. You didn't. But she said nothing. Just nodded, sympathetic. Professional Dr. Reed walked past her without another glance. This is real medicine, Walsh. People die. Get used to it. The night dragged on. Emma completed her rounds. Checked vitals. Administered medication? Did everything a good nurse should do. At 2:47 a.m., her phone buzzed. A single text. No caller ID. Package arriving. Liu hours. Stay ready. Emma deleted the message. Her expression never changed, but inside something shifted. The waiting was over. If you want to see what happens when Emma's two worlds collide, hit that subscribe button. This story is just getting started, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. The rain continued to fall. The hospital continued its steady rhythm, and Emma Walsh continued to wait, because that's what operators do. They wait for the moment, the perfect moment, and when it comes, they strike. The dawn came gray and cold. Emma finished her shift at 7 a.m., but she didn't go home. Instead, she found a quiet corner in the staff lounge, coffee in hand, eyes on the door. 6 hours? That's what the message said. Dr. Reed entered, looking exhausted. He barely glanced at her as he poured his own coffee. You're still here? Shift ended an hour ago. Catching up on charts, Emma said. Simple. Believable. He grunted and left. The morning shift arrived. The hospital woke up. Patients needed care. Doctors made their rounds. Everything normal. Everything routine. Emma moved through it all like a ghost. Present, but invisible. Exactly how she'd been trained. At 8:47 a.m., her phone buzzed again. Package delayed. Weather arrival now 1300 hours. Maintain cover. She sipped her coffee, adjusted her schedule mentally. 3 hours to go. Helen found her in the hallway. Walsh, you're still here? Your shift ended 2 hours ago. Just helping with the transition, Emma said. I don't mind. Helen's eyes narrowed, suspicious. That's unusual. Most nurses can't wait to leave. Smiled, soft, harmless. I like to stay busy, Helen. Stared at her for another moment, then walked away. Emma could feel the supervisor's suspicion growing. She'd have to be more careful. At noon, the emergency department doors opened. 2 men walked in. They wore civilian clothes, jeans, jackets. But Emma recognized them. Wow. Instantly federal agents. They approached the intake desk. Flashed badges. Emma couldn't hear the conversation, but she saw the receptionist's face go pale. Saw her point toward the trauma wing. The agents moved deeper into the hospital. Emma watched them from her station. They were looking for something. Someone her phone stayed silent. At 12:45 p.m., the hospital's overhead speakers crackled to life. Security to the main entrance. Code yellow. Security to the main entrance. Code yellow. External threat. Emma stood. Moved toward the windows. Outside, 3 black SUVs had pulled up to the emergency entrance. Men in tactical gear were stepping out. No police markings. No ambulances. This was wrong. All wrong. Dr. Reed appeared beside her. What the hell is going on? Before anyone could answer, the automatic doors opened. 6 men entered. They wore black tactical uniforms. Body armor. Weapons clearly visible. The emergency department went silent. One of the men stepped forward. His voice was calm, professional, military. This facility is now under federal jurisdiction. Nobody leaves. Nobody enters. This is a matter of national security. Helen rushed forward. You can't just... The man held up a badge. Homeland Security Investigations. Yes, ma'am, we can. Please return to your station. Emma's mind raced. HSI. That wasn't right. Her package wasn't supposed to come like this. This wasn't the plan. She stepped back from the window. Moved toward the staff corridor. Slow, casual. Nobody noticed her slip away in the empty hallway. She pulled out her phone. Sent a coded message. Situation compromised. Request immediate extraction. Response came in seconds. Negative. Package is hot. Protect at all costs. Reinforcements en route. Emma's jaw tightened. The package wasn't medical supplies or documents. It was a person, and whoever it was, they were valuable enough to bring federal agents and tactical teams to a civilian hospital. She moved quickly now. Back toward the emergency department, but she stopped at the supply closet first. Grabbed a few items, tucked them into her scrubs. When she returned to the main floor, the situation had escalated. The tactical team had established a perimeter. 2 men guarded the entrance. 2 more were checking patient rooms. Dr. Reed was arguing with the team leader. "You can't search patient rooms without warrants. This is a hospital, not a doctor. I suggest you step back." The team leader's hand moved to his weapon. "This is not a negotiation." Reed went pale. Stepped back, Emma positioned herself near the nurse's station. Close to the action, but not too close. Watching, calculating. One of the federal agents from earlier approached the tactical team leader. They spoke in low voices. Emma strained to hear. "Second floor. Trauma Bay 3. We need to move now." The team leader nodded. He gestured to 4 of his men. They moved toward the stairs. Emma's phone buzzed. "Package is in Trauma Bay 3. Former asset. Blown cover. Extraction critical. You are authorized to reveal." It's authorized to reveal. Those 3 words changed everything. Emma looked at the tactical team heading for the stairs. Looked at the agents securing the exits. Looked at the frightened nurses and confused doctors. Then she moved. She walked straight to the team leader. Her stride changed. No longer the quiet, uncertain nurse. Now she moved with purpose. With authority. "Stop your men." Her voice was different. Harder, colder. The team leader turned. Looked at her like she was an insect. "Ma'am, return to your station." Emma held his gaze. "I said stop your men." "That's an order." He laughed. Actually laughed. "Lady, I don't know what you think." Emma's hand moved to her collar. She pulled out a chain from beneath her scrubs. On it hung a badge. Military. The kind that made hardened soldiers stand at attention. The team leader's smile died. His eyes went wide as he read the identification. Commander Emma Walsh, United States Naval Special Warfare Command. Her voice carried across the entire emergency department. Every head turned. "You are operating in my area of responsibility without clearance. Stand down now." The team leader's face went white. He keyed his radio with shaking hands. "Command, we have a situation. Request immediate confirmation on authority." Behind her, Emma heard Dr. Reed's voice. Confused, shocked. "Commander, what the hell?" "She's just a nurse." Emma didn't turn around. Didn't break eye contact with the team leader. "Your package in Trauma Bay 3 is my operative. Your presence here is compromised an active SEAL operation. Every second you stand here arguing with me, you're putting American lives at risk." The tactical team leader's radio crackled. A voice came through. Stern, immediate. "All units stand down. Transfer command to Commander Walsh." I repeat, transfer command to Commander Walsh. The team leader's weapon lowered. He took a step back. "Commander, we didn't know. You weren't supposed to." Emma moved past him. "Now secure this floor. Nobody in or out. And get your men away from Trauma Bay 3 before they blow my operatives cover to every remaining hostile in a 50-mile radius." She was done hiding. Done playing the quiet nurse now. The real work began. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The emergency department erupted in chaos. Doctors shouted questions. Nurses stood frozen. Security guards looked at each other, confused about who they were supposed to take orders from. Emma ignored all of it. She moved toward the stairs with purpose. The tactical team leader followed 2 steps behind, still trying to process what had just happened. "Commander, my orders came from?" "I don't care where your orders came from." Emma's voice was cold. "Your intel is 48 hours old." The situation changed. You just walked into the middle of a live operation. They reached the 2nd floor. Emma keyed her phone, sent 3 words. "I'm coming in. Trauma Bay 3. The door was closed. Emma approached it slowly. Knocked twice, paused, knocked 3 more times. A voice from inside, weak, pained, clear. Emma opened the door. The man on the bed looked nothing like the body from last night's trauma case. This patient was younger. Middle Eastern features. An IV in his arm. Bandages across his shoulder. but his eyes were alert, sharp. Military. Commander. Tried to sit up. They found me. I know. Emma moved to his bedside. Checked his vitals with practiced efficiency. How bad? Bullet grazed the shoulder. I've had worse. He looked past her at the tactical team leader in the doorway. Who are they? HSI. They're looking for someone who doesn't exist anymore. Emma turned to the team leader. Your target was Khalid Mansour, correct? Syrian national. Suspected of providing material support to terrorist organizations? The team leader's jaw tightened. That's classified. Not from me. Emma gestured to the man on the bed. Meet Petty Officer First Class David Chen, United States Navy. Deep cover operative. He's been embedded in a Syrian network for 18 months, and you've just burned his legend by showing up here with a tactical team. The team leader looked like he'd been punched. But, the intel said, your intel was fed to you. Emma's voice was sharp. This was a test. We needed to see if there was a leak in your chain of command. Congratulations, you just proved there is. David Khalid, whoever he was today, managed a weak smile. She's good, isn't she? The team leader backed out of the room. His radio was already at his lips. Command, we have a major problem. Emma closed the door. Locked it, turned back to David. How many hostiles know you're here? 3, maybe 4? He winced as he shifted position. They tracked me after the exchange went bad. I made it here before I passed out. Figured a hospital was safer than a safe house. Is smart. They won't expect you to hide in plain sight. Emma checked her phone. Extraction team is 15 minutes out. Navy helicopter. Once they arrive, we move fast. 15 minutes. David's eyes closed. That's a long time. You've survived worse. True. He opened his eyes again. Looked at her. Really looked at her. You really worked here? As a nurse? 6 days. It was supposed to be a 3-month rotation. Recon and recovery. Emma allowed herself a small smile. Guess that's over now. Footsteps in the hallway. Multiple people. Emma moved to the door. Hand on her concealed weapon. A knock. Then Helen's voice. Angry. Demanding. Emma Walsh. Open this door right now. Emma sighed. Opened the door a crack. Helen stood there, flanked by Dr. Reed and 2 security guards. Her face was red with fury. What the hell is going on? Who are you really? I'm exactly who I said I was. A nurse. Nurses don't order federal agents around. Reed pushed forward. I don't know what kind of game you're playing, but Emma stepped into the hallway. Closed the door behind her. Dr. Reed. Supervisor Carter. What I'm about to tell you is classified. You will not repeat it. You will not write it down. You will not discuss it with anyone. Do you understand? Helen's anger faltered. Classified. The patient in that room is under federal protection. His identity is classified. His condition is classified. The fact that he's here at all is classified. Emma's voice dropped. In approximately 12 minutes, a military helicopter will land on your roof. You will allow it. You will not interfere. And you will forget everything you saw here today. Dr. Reed laughed. It sounded hysterical. This is insane. You can't just... The building shook. A low rumble that rattled the windows. Everyone froze. Emma's phone buzzed. She glanced at it. Her expression hardened. That wasn't the extraction team. Reed went pale. What was it? Trouble. Emma turned to the security guards. Evacuate this floor. Now, get all patients and staff to the ground level. Use the north stairwell only. You can't order us to, Helen started. Move. Emma's voice cracked like a whip. Military command. The kind that made people obey without thinking. The security guards moved. Helen and Reed stood frozen for another second, then followed. Emma ducked back into the trauma bay. David was already trying to sit up. That sounded close. Too close. Emma helped him to his feet. Can you walk? If I have to, you have to. She grabbed his The Fourth bag. Disconnected it. We're moving to a secure location. Another rumble. Closer this time. The lights flickered. Emma's phone rang. She answered. Walsh. A voice she recognized. Her commanding officer, Admiral Sarah Chen. Satellite shows 3 vehicles approaching your position. They're not ours. You need to get out of there working on it, ma'am. The extraction team is 8 minutes out. Can you hold? Emma looked at David, looked at the door, heard shouting from the hallway, heard the distant sound of breaking glass. Yes, ma'am. We'll hold. She ended the call. Looked at David. Remember your training? He managed a weak grin. Which part? The part where we don't die? That's my favorite part. Emma moved to the supply cabinet. Pulled out equipment she'd stashed earlier. 2 tactical vests. Medical supplies. And something else? Something a civilian nurse should never have. SIG Sauer P226. Standard SEAL sidearm. She checked the magazine loaded. She handed it to David. You said you've had worse. I lied, I know. Emma pulled out a second weapon. Checked it with the ease of years of practice. But we're SEALs. We lie all the time. The door burst open. But it wasn't Helen or Dr. Reed. It was a man in civilian clothes. Dark jacket, cold eyes, and a weapon pointed directly at Emma's chest. Commander Walsh, he said in accented English. We've been looking for you. Emma didn't move. Didn't raise her weapon. Then you found me, man smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. You and the traitor. How convenient? Behind him, Emma heard more footsteps. More voices. At least 3 more huffs. David raised his weapon, aimed, but his hand was shaking. He was in no condition to fight. The man with the gun laughed. Put it down, old friend. You're bleeding. Weak. You can't win. Emma's mind raced, calculated. Measured the distance. The angles. The odds. 8 minutes until extraction. 100 things could go wrong in 8 minutes. But 8 minutes was all she needed. You're right, Emma said calmly. He can't win. She raised her weapon. Her hand was steady. Her eyes were cold. But I can. The hallway exploded into chaos, and Emma Walsh stopped being a nurse. Entirely. Asterisk, asterisk, the first shot came from Emma's weapon, precise, controlled. The hostile in the doorway dropped. Before he could pull his trigger, Emma moved, grabbed David, pulled him behind the hospital bed. Stay down. Gunfire erupted in the hallway. Bullets punched through the walls. Glass shattered. Medical equipment exploded in sparks. Emma returned fire. 3 controlled bursts. She heard a scream. A body hitting the floor. But there were more. Always more. David. How many? 4? No, 5. He pressed his hand against his shoulder. Blood was seeping through the bandage. Emma, I can't. You can. She shoved a spare magazine into his hand. Reload. Cover the door. She moved to the window. Looked down. The parking lot was chaos. Federal agents were engaged with hostiles near the black SUVs. Civilians were running, screaming. This was going bad fast. Her phone buzzed. Extraction, ETA 6 minutes. Roof access. Emma texted back with one hand while firing with the other. Compromised. Alternate location needed. The doorframe exploded in splinters. Another hostile tried to enter. David fired. The shot went wide, but it was enough to drive the attacker back. Emma. David's voice was weak. I'm slowing you down. Leave me? Not happening. Emma grabbed a crash cart. Shoved it in front of the door. It wouldn't hold long, but it would buy time. We're leaving together. She scanned the room. There's a service elevator at the end of the hall. If they could reach it, they could get to the basement. From there, a maintenance tunnel led to the adjacent building. Can you run? David looked at her. Sweat dripped down his face. Define run. Move fast while people shoot at us. Well, that kind of run. He managed a pained smile. Yeah, I can do that. Emma grabbed his arm. Pulled him up. On 3. We go left. Stay low. Don't stop, Commander. His voice was serious now. If I go down, you won't. If I do, David? She looked him in the eye. I didn't spend 6 days pretending to be incompetent just to lose you now. We're both getting out of here. Understood? He nodded. 1. Emma kicked the crash cart away from the door. 2. The door burst open. 2 hostiles rushed in. Emma fired. 1 dropped. The second dove behind equipment. 3. They ran. The hallway was a war zone. Bullet holes in the walls. Blood on the floor. Smoke from damaged equipment. Emma led the way, weapon up, scanning for threats. A hostile appeared from a patient room. Emma didn't hesitate. 2 shots. Center mass. He went down. Behind them, more shouting. More gunfire. The remaining hostiles were giving chase. Almost there. Emma pointed to the service elevator. 20 feet. 15. 10. A figure stepped out from the stairwell. Weapon raised. Emma recognized him instantly. The tactical team leader from HSI, Commander? Get down. Emma dropped. Pulled David down with her. The team leader fired over their heads. 3-round burst. The hostile behind them fell. Go. The team leader moved to cover them. I've got your 6. Emma didn't argue. She and David reached the elevator. She slammed the button. The doors opened immediately. They stumbled inside. The team leader backed in behind them, fired twice more. Then the doors closed. Silence. Just the mechanical hum of the elevator descending. David slumped against the wall. That was fun. The team leader looked at Emma. Sorry, Commander. For earlier, we should have verified. Save it. Emma checked her weapon. Counted her remaining ammunition. Not enough. How many hostiles are still active? Unknown. My team is engaged with at least 6. There could be more. He looked at David. Is he worth all this? David laughed. It turned into a cough. Rude. Emma's expression was ice. He's worth more than you'll ever know. The elevator reached the basement. The doors opened. Emma went first. Weapon up. The basement was dark. Quiet. Too quiet. Maintenance tunnel. East side. She moved forward. The team leader stayed close. David limped behind them. They navigated through the maze of pipes and equipment. Emergency lights cast everything in a sickly yellow glow. Emma's training took over. She moved silently, efficiently. Every corner checked. Every shadow cleared. Behind them, footsteps. Heavy. Running. They found the elevator. The team leader turned, aimed back the way they'd come. How far to the tunnel? 50 feet. Emma spotted the access door. Sealed with a padlock. Cover me. She holstered her weapon, grabbed the padlock. Her first instinct was to shoot it off, but the noise would give away their position. Instead, she pulled a small tool from her vest. Lockpicks. Every SEAL carried them. Emma. David's voice was fading, getting dizzy. Stay with me, David. 30 seconds. The lock clicked. Emma yanked it off, pulled the door open. Gunfire erupted behind them. The team leader returned fire. Go! Go! Emma grabbed David, half carried him through the door. The team leader backed in after them, slammed the door shut. It won't hold. He looked around for something to brace it with. Emma was already moving. Found a metal pipe, jammed it through the door handle. It doesn't need to hold long. Extraction team on station. Parking structure. North side. 2 minutes, copy that. Emma showed the message to the team leader. Can your people clear a path? I'll make it happen. He keyed his radio. All units converge on north parking structure. Priority 1. Create a secure corridor for extraction.
Ow.
The door shook. Something heavy slammed against it from the other side. Once. Twice. The pipe bent but held. Emma looked at David. He was barely conscious. Almost there, sailor. Stay with me. They moved through the tunnel. It was narrow, dark, The only light came from their phones. Water dripped from overhead pipes. The smell of mold and rust filled the air. Behind them, the sound of metal tearing. The door was giving way. Faster. Emma practically dragged David now. The team leader covered their retreat, fired twice. The shots echoed in the confined space. Ahead, light. The tunnel exit. Emma hit the door hard. It swung open. They emerged into a parking structure. Cars, concrete pillars. And there, on the second level, a Navy MH-60S Seahawk helicopter. Rotors spinning. The side door open. A figure stood in the doorway. Navy uniform. The patch on their shoulder made Emma's heart skip. SEAL Team insignia. Commander Walsh. The SEAL gestured urgently. Double time. Emma ran. David's weight was almost too much. The team leader helped support him from the other side. 50 feet, 40, 30, gunfire behind them. Bullets sparked off the concrete. Emma heard shouting, saw muzzle flashes. 20 feet. David stumbled, started to fall. Emma caught him. Not now, David. Not when we're this close. 10 feet. The SEAL and the helicopter opened fire, suppressing the hostiles, giving them cover. 5 feet. Emma practically threw David into the helicopter. The team leader jumped in after. Emma turned, fired her last 3 rounds. Then she grabbed the helicopter's doorframe, pulled herself inside. Go, go, go. The pilot didn't need to be told twice. The helicopter lifted, rose fast. Emma caught one last glimpse of the parking structure below. Federal agents were swarming the hostiles. The fight was over. Inside the helicopter, a Navy corpsman was already working on David. For lines. Pressure on the wound. Professional. Efficient. Emma finally allowed herself to breathe, to let the adrenaline fade, to feel the exhaustion in every muscle. The team leader sat across from her. He was bleeding from a cut on his forehead. Commander, I'm Agent Marcus Rivera, HSI. I owe you an apology. Emma looked at him. You owe me more than that. Yes, ma'am. The helicopter banked. Headed east. Toward the ocean. Toward the carrier group waiting offshore. Emma's phone buzzed one more time. Admiral Chen. Status. Emma typed, package secure. Operative stable. Mission complete. Response came immediately. Well done, Commander. Welcome back. Emma closed her eyes. Let her head rest against the helicopter's cold metal wall. 6 days as a quiet nurse. 6 days of being invisible. Of being underestimated. But now everyone knew Dr. Reed. Helen. The entire hospital. Her cover was blown. Her mission was over. And somehow, Emma Walsh felt more like herself than she had in months. Asterisk, the helicopter ride lasted 30 minutes. 30 minutes of silence, except for the rhythmic thump of the rotors. David was unconscious but stable. Agent Rivera stared out the window. And Emma sat perfectly still, processing everything that had just happened. They landed on the USS Abraham Lincoln, an aircraft carrier 3 miles offshore. Emma had been here before, many times, but it never stopped being impressive. As the helicopter touched down, medical personnel rushed forward. They transferred David onto a stretcher. The corpsman gave a rapid report. Someone handed Emma a bottle of water. She drank it without tasting it. A figure approached through the crowd. Navy uniform. 3 stars on the shoulder. Vice Admiral James Mitchell, commander of Naval Special Warfare. MA stood at attention. Saluted. At ease, Commander. Mitchell's voice was gruff, but not unkind. Hell of a morning, yes, sir. Petty Officer Chen is en route to surgery. Doctors say he'll make a full recovery. Mitchell glanced at the helicopter. At the blood on the floor. At Emma's torn scrubs. You got him out. That's what matters. With respect, Sir Agent Rivera and his team helped. They deserve recognition. Mitchell nodded. Noted. Come with me. Admiral Chen is waiting. They walked across the deck. Emma was acutely aware of how she looked. Scrubs stained with blood and sweat, hair disheveled, No makeup. She looked like she'd been through a war, because she had. They entered the ship's operations center. Banks of computer screens, maps, communications equipment. And there, standing at the central table, was Admiral Sarah Chen. Emma had served under Chen for 5 years. Respected her. Feared her a little. Chen was brilliant, ruthless, and she demanded nothing but perfection from her operators. Commander Walsh. Chen's voice was neutral. Status report. Emma stood at attention. Petty Officer Chen secured and en route to medical. 5 hostiles neutralized. Cover identity compromised. Mission objectives achieved. Casualties? None among friendlies. Multiple injuries among HSI personnel. Civilian casualties unknown but likely minimal. She looked at a screen showing news coverage of the hospital. Police cordons, ambulances, reporters everywhere. The hospital is a circus. FBI is handling the cleanup. Cover story is a terrorist cell trying to kidnap a federal witness. Chen turned to Emma. Your name won't appear in any reports. As far as the public knows, you don't exist. Understood, ma'am. However, Chen's expression hardened. St. Catherine's staff saw you. They know your face. They know your name. Some of them even have your phone number. Emma felt a chill. Ma'am, I can explain. I don't need explanations, Commander. I need solutions. Chen pulled up a file on one of the screens. Emma's face appeared. Her real service record. You were supposed to be in deep cover for 3 months. Instead, you lasted 6 days before burning your legend in the most spectacular way possible. Emma's jaw tightened. The mission parameters changed, ma'am. I made a tactical decision. A tactical decision that saved Chen's life. Admiral Mitchell spoke up and exposed a leak in HSI's chain of command. That intel didn't come from us. No. Chen looked at Emma, which means someone wanted David Chen dead. Someone with access to classified information. Someone inside our government? The weight of that statement hung in the air. Emma understood immediately. This wasn't just an extraction. It was bait. Smart girl, Chen smiled. It wasn't a warm smile. We've been hunting a mole for 6 months. Someone selling information to foreign intelligence services. David's blown cover was the perfect trap. We leaked his location through 3 different channels. HSI was the only one that took the bait. Agent Rivera was going to have a very bad day. Where does that leave me, ma'am? Emma asked. Chen studied her. That depends. Can you still operate? My cover at the hospital is blown. Yes, but hospitals aren't the only place nurses work. Chen pulled up another file. There's a pharmaceutical research facility in Seattle. High-level security. Government contracts. We've had eyes on it for months. Suspicious activity. Possible theft of classified medical technology. Emma understood. You want me to go undercover there? Eventually. First, you need to disappear for a while. Let the heat die down. Let St. Catherine's fade from the news cycle. Chen closed the file. You've got 60 days. Rest. Recover. Then we'll discuss Seattle. Emma saluted. Yes, ma'am. Dismissed. Emma turned to leave. Got to the door. Chen's voice stopped her. Commander? Yes, ma'am. You did good work today. Unconventional. Messy. But good. Chen's expression softened slightly. Your father would be proud. Emma's breath caught. Her father. Captain Robert Walsh. Also a SEAL. Killed in action 3 years ago in Syria. Chen had been his commanding officer. Thank you, ma'am. Emma left the operations center. Walked the narrow corridors of the carrier. Found the medical bay. David was out of surgery. Sleeping. Peaceful. She sat in a chair next to his bed. Watched the monitors. Listened to the steady beep of his heart rate. A nurse entered. Real Navy medical staff this time. She checked David's vitals. Adjusted his 4. Then she looked at Emma. You're Commander Walsh? Yes. He asked about you. Before the anesthesia knocked him out. The nurse smiled. Said something about owing you a beer? Emma smiled slightly. He owes me several. He's lucky to have you watching his six. After the nurse left, Emma sat in silence. The adrenaline was completely gone now, replaced by exhaustion, by questions, by uncertainty. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number, Commander Walsh. This is Dr. Reed from St. Catherine's. I don't know if this number still works. I don't know if you'll even see this, but I wanted to say I'm sorry for everything. You saved lives today, including mine. Thank you. Yes. Emma stared at the message. Didn't respond. What could she say? Another text. This one from Helen Carter. Emma, I don't understand what happened today. I don't understand who you really are. But you were a damn good nurse. Even if it was just for 6 days. If you ever want to come back, you have a job here. No questions asked. Emma almost laughed. Come back. As if she could just walk back into that hospital and pretend to be normal again, but the offer was kind, genuine. She sent back a simple response. Thank you. She spent the night on the carrier, showered, ate, changed into a proper Navy uniform. It felt strange after 6 days in scrubs. Strange but right. The next morning she stood on the deck and watched the sun rise over the ocean. The sky was clear. The storm had passed. Below deck, David was recovering. Agent Rivera and his team were being debriefed. And somewhere in Washington, investigators were tearing apart HSI's organizational structure looking for the mole. Emma's part was over. For now, her phone rang. Admiral Chen. Commander. Change of plans. There's a helicopter en route to pick you up. You're needed in Washington. Emma's stomach tightened. Ma'am, the hospital situation. It's bigger than we thought. The director of the FBI wants to speak with you personally. He's prepared to offer you something. Offer me what? Chen paused. A new identity. A new mission. And a chance to find out who's really behind this. Emma looked out at the ocean. At the endless expanse of water, she thought about quiet nursing stations. About condescending doctors. About playing a role. She thought about her father. About David. About all the operators who depended on people like her to keep them safe. When does the helicopter arrive? 15 minutes? Emma smiled. I'll be ready. That's what she did. That's what she'd always done. Whatever the mission required, whatever the cost, she was Commander Emma Walsh, United States Navy, SEAL, and she was ready for whatever came next. Asterisk, asterisk. The helicopter touched down at Joint Base Andrews 45 minutes later. A black sedan was waiting. No markings. No escort. Just a driver in a dark suit who opened the door without speaking. Emma climbed in. The drive to Washington was silent. She watched the city pass by. Monuments, museums, government buildings, the heart of American power. They didn't go to the FBI headquarters. Instead, they drove to a nondescript office building in Arlington. No signs, no labels, just a number above the entrance, 2719. Inside, security was tight. Biometric scanners. Armed guards. Multiple checkpoints. Emma was escorted to an elevator that went down, not up. 3 levels underground. The elevator doors opened to a secure operations facility, bigger than the one on the carrier. More advanced, this was where real decisions were made. A man in a suit approached. Mid-50s, silver hair, eyes that had seen too much. Commander Walsh, I'm Deputy Director Mark Castellano, FBI Counterintelligence. Thank you for coming. Did I have a choice? Castellano smiled slightly. No, but I appreciate you pretending you did. He led her through the facility. Analysts worked at computer stations. Screens showed surveillance footage, maps, data streams. This wasn't just about the hospital attack. This was something bigger. They entered a conference room, and Emma stopped. Sitting at the head of the table was a man in a Navy uniform. 4 stars on his shoulder. Admiral William Hartley, Chief of Naval Operations, the highest-ranking officer in the entire United States Navy. Emma snapped to attention. Saluted. At ease, Commander. Hartley's voice was deep, commanding. Please, sit. Emma sat. Castellano took a seat across from her. I've read your file, Hartley began. 12 years of service. 2 tours in Afghanistan, 1 in Syria. Multiple classified operations. Decorated. Skilled. One of the best operatives in SEAL Team 3. Emma said nothing. Waited. Yesterday, you saved the life of Petty Officer David Chen. You also exposed a significant security breach in our intelligence community. And you did it while maintaining your cover identity as a civilian nurse. Hartley leaned forward. That's impressive. More than impressive. Castellano opened a folder, slid it across the table. The hospital attack wasn't random, Commander. The men who came after Chen were professionals. Former Russian intelligence. They had detailed information about his location, his schedule, even his medical condition. Emma's blood ran cold. Someone told them. Someone inside our government. Someone with access to SEAL Team operations. Castellano's expression was grim. We've narrowed it down to 17 suspects. All of them high-ranking. All of them with clearance. And you want me to find them. We want you to help us. Hartley stood. Walked to a screen on the wall. It lit up. Showed a photo of a man. Caucasian. Late 40s. Business suit. This is Martin Voss, CEO of MedTech Solutions. His company has government contracts for advanced medical technology. Battlefield trauma systems. Surgical robotics. Things that could save thousands of lives. Let me guess, Emma said. The technology is being sold to foreign powers. We think so. But we can't prove it. Voss is careful. Connected. He has friends in Congress, in the Pentagon. In the intelligence community, Castellano pulled up more photos. 2 months ago, one of our assets in Moscow reported seeing American medical technology being used in a Russian military hospital. Equipment that should have never left U.S. soil. The trail led back to MedTech. Hartley continued. But we can't move against Voss without proof. If we're wrong, the political fallout would be catastrophic. If we're right but can't prove it, he walks free and continues selling American secrets. Emma understood. You need someone inside. We need a nurse. Castellano smiled. MedTech Solutions is opening a new research facility in Seattle. They're hiring medical staff, experienced nurses with trauma backgrounds. You fit the profile perfectly. After what happened at St. Catherine's, my face was all over the news. Your face was never shown. The FBI and hospital administration made sure of that. As far as the public knows, the hero who saved everyone was an unnamed federal agent. Hartley tapped the screen. Emma Walsh, the nurse, only existed for 6 days. She can exist again. Different name, different background, but the same skills. Looked at the file. Looked at Martin Voss's photo. Looked at the 2 men offering her this mission. What makes you think Voss won't have security? Background checks? Surveillance. He will. Which is why we've spent the last 3 months building you a perfect legend. Castellano pulled out another folder. Thicker, this one. Meet Sarah Mitchell. Former Navy nurse. Honorable discharge after 8 years. Trauma experience in field hospitals overseas. Currently working at a private clinic in Denver. Excellent references. Clean background. Emma opened the folder. There were hospital records. Service awards. Even photos of Sarah Mitchell at various duty stations. Photos that had been digitally altered to show Emma's face. The real Sarah Mitchell was an actual Navy nurse, Castellano explained. She died 3 years ago in a car accident. No family, few friends. Her identity has been dormant since then. We've rebuilt it, made it real again. With you as the person wearing it, Hartley sat down again. Commander Walsh, Sarah Mitchell. The name doesn't matter. What matters is stopping Martin Voss before he sells any more American technology to our enemies. Technology that will be used to kill American soldiers. Emma thought about David, about her father, about every operator she'd ever served with. How long? She asked. 6 months. Maybe less, if you can get close to Voss quickly. And if I'm discovered, then you disappear. We'll extract you, give you a new identity again. Castellano's expression was serious. But I won't lie to you, Commander. If Voss suspects you're working for us, he won't call the police. He'll call the same people who tried to kill David Chen, so it's a suicide mission. No, Hartley's voice was firm. It's a mission that requires someone exceptional. Someone who can blend in. Who can earn trust? Who can survive when everything goes wrong? He looked at her. Someone like you. Emma sat back, closed her eyes for a moment, thought about the past 6 days, about playing the quiet nurse, about Dr. Reed's condescending remarks, about Helen's suspicious glances. Then she thought about the moment in Trauma Bay 3, when she'd dropped the act, when she'd revealed who she really was, the look on the tactical team leader's face, the respect in his voice. That moment had felt good, real, true, but it had also ended the mission, blown her cover, put other people at risk. Being undercover meant never getting that moment, meant staying in the shadows, meant being underestimated forever, unless she succeeded, unless she stopped Voss, unless she saved lives that would be lost if she said no. Emma opened her eyes. When do I start? Hartley smiled. 3 weeks. That gives us time to finalize your legend, to prepare everything, to make Sarah Mitchell real and St. Catherine's. Dr. Reed, Helen Carter, they saw me. They saw Emma Walsh, not Sarah Mitchell. Castellano closed the folder. Different hair, different makeup, different personality. You'll be unrecognizable. Emma stood. I'll need access to all files on Martin Voss, his company, his associates, everything. You'll have it. And I want David Chen assigned as my backup operator. When he's recovered, Hartley nodded. Done. He owes you his life. I think he'll be happy to return the favor. They stood, shook hands, formal, professional. As Emma turned to leave, Hartley spoke again. Commander, one more thing. She turned. Yesterday, you saved one of our own. You exposed a security breach. You operated under impossible conditions and succeeded. Hartley's expression softened. That's exactly what your father would have done. Exactly how I remember him. Emma's throat tightened. You knew him? I served with him. 20 years ago. Best operator I ever met. Hartley smiled. And I think his daughter might be even better. Emma couldn't speak, could only nod, salute, turn, and walk away before the emotion showed. Outside the conference room, she leaned against the wall, took a breath, centered herself. 3 weeks. Then she would become Sarah Mitchell, would walk into Martin Voss's facility, would smile and nod and play the role of the competent but unremarkable nurse, and she would find the truth, would stop the technology from being sold, would protect American lives. Her phone buzzed. A text from David Chen. He was awake, recovering. The message was simple. Heard you're going back undercover? Try not to blow up any more hospitals. My health insurance is expensive. Emma smiled. Typed back, no promises. Another text came through. This one from a blocked number. But Emma recognized the writing style. Admiral Chen. Welcome back to the shadows, Commander. Make us proud. Emma put her phone away. Walked down the corridor. Took the elevator up. Emerged into the sunlight of a normal Washington afternoon to anyone watching. She looked like just another person in a Navy. Uniform, young, unremarkable, easy to overlook, exactly how she needed to be. Emma Walsh had been a nurse for 6 days. Then a commander for 6 hours. Now she would disappear again. Become Sarah Mitchell. Become someone new, because that's what operators did. They adapted. They survived. They completed the mission no matter the cost, and Emma was the best operator at the Navy. I had the quiet nurse who nobody expected, who everyone underestimated, who could walk into any room and disappear into the background until the moment she needed to step forward, until the moment the uniform was revealed, until the moment everyone realized exactly who had been standing among them all along. She climbed into the waiting car. The driver pulled away from the building, headed back to Joint Base Andrews, back to the carrier. Back to her team. Emma Walsh was going back undercover, and this time she would make sure nobody saw her coming. Not until it was too late.